Hi, I'm Jamie Baker, sports editor at the Courier. I'm here with Scott Cottos and Andy Wolf. We're here for week 3 of the Review Times Chalk Talk. And I want to start it out by saying REDMEN. How about those Redmen? They beat Wauseon for the first win of the season. Boy, they got to be pretty excited.
You would think so.
Yep.
It always helps to win a game going into the next one. A little more spring in your step in practice. The key is learning how to win and handle that too. Last week's score does not give you this week's outcome.
Right.
So, I'm sure Coach Kidwell and his staff turned the page already. They were after things yesterday or the day before even. And they have to get ready for a Port Clinton team that's probably even better than Wauseon.
They probably are, but Fostoria was in the game with Port Clinton last year. Did you go to that game?
I covered that game last year. It was that week 3 where everybody battled the elements of pouring rain, just wind and everything. And really, Fostoria got backed up inside their own 20, a bad punt, a block punt. Port Clinton recovered and only had to go 5 yards for the only score of the game. And Fostoria in the second half marched a couple times across midfield. Nobody was able to pass the ball. It was just one of those that only score stood as a game.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting game again this week. Former Fostoria coach Bo Carmen on the Port Clinton sideline. So we'll see what happens Friday night. St. Wendland coming off a better performance than week 1. Van Loo, they lost to Van Loo Saturday night. Went out, watched a half of it in the first half, and I think if they could have kept things a little bit closer in the first half, they might have had a chance. Treg Price ran for 277 yards. They'll have to buckle that up. But break this week, they got Horizon Science, a team I think they beat 2 years ago.
Right. And Horizons played one game this year. They lost 66-0 to Lincoln West out of Cleveland. There's no telling really what they're getting out of them right now. But they're also coached by a former staff member, Bryson Meyer, who was on Bill Rayback's staff at St. Wendland, is the coach at Horizon Science. And I don't know what's happening up there yet, but I guess we'll get an idea on Saturday. And St. Wendland took some steps forward, I guess.
They did.
And if you do that every week, then you are doing things the right way. So you see what happens.
They made some plays on offense. They did get a couple defensive stops, especially in the second half. So I look for an even better performance this week against Horizon Science. And, I think Horizon Science was one of the teams looking into 8-man football, so they should have probably a similar number situation to St. Wendland. Last week, Elmwood beat, Hopewell-Loudon beat Elmwood, and that was the game that Andy covered. This week, Hopewell-Loudon takes on Macomb, tough task, and Elmwood takes on Toledo Christian.
What would you like me to talk about? Last week's game or the
let's talk about last week, what you saw last week.
I saw a Hopewell team. We knew what the Hopewell had on offense. We weren't quite, there were some more unproven things on Elmwood's side of the ball. Hopewell takes it down and scores. Elmwood was able to respond, keep it in the game. They really had to expand things open with their quarterback. I know they lost Brock Reinhardt in a scrimmage to injury. They had to step in their old quarterback, Noah Baker, who they were planning on sending out wide. Coach Brian Cooper said this is probably the most we've ever asked him to throw the ball in our offense. He made some big plays to Jace Grossman, kept him in the game, but it seems like every time Elmwood would score, Hopewell would be able to answer with their passing game. Zach Creas was a new quarterback to the team this year, got a small time last year. Really proved he can throw the ball, spread the ball around. I think he hit 4 or 5 receivers for 70, 80 yards. He ends up with 391 yards on a day where Elmwood really shut down Sam Stickley. So
should be an interesting ball game. Elmwood certainly got to buckle down the defensive side of the ball. They've given up a lot of points the first 2 weeks. But, this game against Toledo Christian is a definitely winnable game. Now, Hopewell-Loudon, on the other hand, they face Macomb, and Macomb's coming off a big beatdown against probably the toughest team they'll face all year, Marion Local, though.
Yeah, on paper it looks like a very great offensive team in Hopewell, number 2 in the BVC. You look at Macomb's defensive numbers are really inflated. Like 416 of their 489 yards were allowed to Marion Local. Wow. Should be one of the best defenses in the BVC. Hopewell lost 49-0 last year. They're going to be really, really tested, probably more than they'll be on both sides of the ball this season.
Okay. Other games, Corey Rawson's playing Arcadia. Van Loo and Van Buren square off, and Lakota takes on Cardinal Stritch. So that'll wrap up week 3 of the Review Times Chalk Talk. You can get all of the print and picture coverage from Friday night's games and Saturday's Review Times.